Good morning and welcome to episode 2 of your daily art challenge. So our painting here is now, just move you down a little bit, that's better. Our painting is now dried and we've got our lovely sea that we're now going to work on and do a little bit of glazing. So the glazing works quite well if you add in a tonal colour, but it also works if you work with the same colour that you've just painted. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to have a little bit of fun just mixing up some blues and some greens, trying to achieve like a nice sort of teal type colour. So I'm just going to pop another little bit of green in here. That's fine. And then what you need to do is just working over the dry paint, just do a little bit of shading. So you can just do a little bit of the over painting. So you can pay particular attention to sort of around the base of the little boats. Set you up right, that's better. We'll just come round over this side. You just want it nice and soft, and just so you've got those lovely different tones and hues of the blue, which is exactly what you see in the actual sea itself. So just allowing that lighter paint to just bleed through. Put a little bit around the little boy. You just need to take just a little bit of time just to achieve the look that you want. Now I'll just come round up at the top here. Along that horizon line. So don't overwork it, just keep it nice and loose, and you'll just get that lovely shaded effect to your work. And you can always go back and add a little bit more once this layer is actually dried. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I think we'll leave it at that at the moment. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is just put a little bit of detail on some of the boats. So again with the boats we're going to be working with a little bit of blue. So I'll just paint in the hull of this little boat. Again, just being very, very careful not to have the darker blue paint bleed into the sea, the glazing that I've just done. And then just fill that in with the detail around the little portholes. Come round this one. Now I've drawn this little boat with a little stripe along the top of the hull of the boat, and what I'm going to do is just allow the paper to work as the white band on that, so I'm not going to apply any paint to that little stripe. Just going to wet my brush and just soften that line out just down the front of the boat. There we go. Lovely. And then I'm just going to do the same with the hull of this boat, only I'm going to add a little bit of darker blue to the blue that I've just used there. You could even add a touch of purple just to make it that little bit darker. There we go. And we'll just paint around the hull of this little boat here. Again, just being very, very careful with the glazing of the sea. So. Just coming around those little portholes on the boat. There we go. I'm just going to put in the roof of this little boat, and the same on this one. Painting the stripe of the on the chimney. And then while we're working with the blue, what we can do is just paint in the blue of the door of this larger house up here. Okay, now the next details that we need to do on the little boats is this one, and this one is a little red boat. So just taking up some of the nice crimson red from your paint palette, you're going to just do the same again with the hull, just being very, very careful of the sea that you've just done. And then just come round those portholes just gently. And of course, when you come to painting this, you can actually really take your time. It's always a little bit different when you're trying to record the tutorial as well as paint. And then again, we're just going to use that white of the paper as a white stripe on the hull of the boat. Now, like I said yesterday, you can compose your picture however you wished. I'm using the primary colours, so I'm using like the reds, the blues, the yellows, but you can use whichever colours you like, really. But I think it looks quite nautical and quite cute using the reds and the blues and the yellows. So that's the hull of our little boat done. And then we can pop in the roof of the little red boat. And then also we can add in just the little stripe on the chimney. Now, while we've got the red on the brush, we can just paint in the red of this little door here. So, and the little pub that's on the quayside here, that also has a little red door, so we'll just pop that in too. Now what we can do is we can come back down to this little boat here, and this little boat has also got a little red cabin on the boat, so we can just paint that in, being very careful with that white line that we want to preserve, so we don't want any paint going over there. And coming round the little porthole. And then just being quite mindful as we're getting up to the blue. We will be adding a little bit more colour to the blue of the hull of the boat, so that'll be a little bit more vibrant. And then lastly, while we've got the red, we can just put in the red on these little buoys that are in the water. So just being very careful with the shape. Now you can draw your little buoys freehand if you wanted to. Alternatively, the top of a pen works very well indeed, so you could just use the top of a pen. And then I've just got this last one to just finish off. Lovely. So the last bit of detail that we need to just put in is the yellow of the cab on this little boat here. So I've got some nice bright yellow. Just move you along a bit. And then we can just do the little cab. Let's go around the porthole first. It's a lovely, bright, cheery yellow. And then we can come back over and just do a little bit more work on this hull of this boat over here. So we can just take up another coat of the nice blue. And we'll just paint over the top of our little boat so it's got a much denser colour. You just want it nice and bright, with strong pigment of colour. Drop a bit more colour into that paint. So just adding that extra drops of colour to the wet paint, and the paint then just runs, which is really rather nice to see. Lovely. So that's a much darker and denser colour. So I'm actually quite happy with that. And then we'll just put another line of that lovely strong blue along the roof. And then we'll just do the same again with this little one over here. So just take your time to build up that lovely depth and strong pigment of colour. You may need 2 coats, you may need 3 coats to have that lovely vibrancy. But just take your time as you do it. And then let's just put that other line in. Okay. Now, just the last thing that I need to do before we finish off today, and just let that that dry, because that will take a little while to dry because we've gone so heavy on the colour of the boats, is we just need to put a very pale sort of grey or a sandy colour just around here to simulate the top of the quayside. Now you can mix a little bit of yellow ochre, so sort of the mustardy, muddy yellow. You can mix a little bit of that with some white. And you just get quite a nice light sandy colour. And then we can just paint in the top of the quayside. So just being a little bit mindful of the mast of the little boat. And then coming round and avoiding the triangles of the bunting. Like I say, don't worry about the string, because the string we can paint in, or draw in using the ink pen. But as long as you've got your nice triangles nicely defined, then that's great. And we'll come round the little lean-to shed. And then just along the little wall. Oops. My little brush has lost a bristle. There we go. Like I say, just take your time when you do this, particularly around the lines of your buildings, and also the triangles of your little bunting. Just come in front of that little shop. And that's it. Lovely. I'm quite pleased with that. So that now needs to dry, and like I say, that will take a little while to dry because we've been quite heavy with the pigment of colour on the little boats. So we just need to let that just dry quite naturally. And then when we come back tomorrow, we're going to be working on our little cottages and just putting the details into them. And then day 4 we'll be doing the wall, and then we'll be finishing it off with the ink detail in thereafter. So enjoy your painting, have some fun today. If you need me, you know where to find me, and I'm here to answer any questions at all you may have. But do enjoy your painting, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Goodbye.